Hello, folks. Welcome to Business Spotlight. You know, it's not often that you meet an organization who really take the culture to the heart of everything that they do. But my guest today, Phil from Spokes Education, absolutely does that. And I'm delighted to welcome you as a guest. Why don't you just tell everybody a little bit, first of all, about what it is that Spokes Education does?
We're a digital learning agency. So that means that we create online learning or e-learning, whatever you want to call it, for various organizations. Largely, say our large client base is within the third sector, so we do lots of humanitarian style courses, but we do work across all sectors.
What is it that makes Spokes Education unique?
Since I started, I always wanted to kind of have service at the heart of what we do, and make something that, make an organisation that people really wanted to work with, and not just our clients but also the team as well, and create somewhere where a place that people wanted to come to work, and people and clients that wanted to come and work with us. So yeah, it's all about kind of collaboration, and we don't kind of we talk about clients, but we see them all as partners.
What is it, the problem that you solve for your clients, the client organizations that you're working with?
Each project has its own kind of learning objectives and outcomes. Largely it's people kind of wanting to learn something or learn about something, so it very much depends on the project. So one of the things we try and do right up front is establish what the actual problem is.
How long have you been in business, Phil?
I started just as a freelancer back in 2013, so it's coming up to 10 years now. But I didn't actually take a first member of staff on until November 2018, so about 4.5 years as an agency, I suppose. But yeah, I've been kind of independent for a little while now.
As we were chatting just now off screen, there was a couple of things you said that I really, really liked. One was that your staff retention is extremely high because you have this fantastic culture, right? And also that your business grew much, much faster than you expected. You hit your 4-year plan in year 1. Is that right? Tell me a bit about those two things.
So the business plan, when I kind of first took an employee on, it was, I just got a bit too much work for me. So I thought I need to put a little bit of a business plan together and think about, how we kind of sustain an employee. At the time it was literally an employee. And put together kind of a 4-year plan, which kind of looked to grow the company to 6 or 7 staff over that period of time. By the end of year 1, we won a really big contract, and we had to take on 6 or 7 people. I think we got to 8 people actually within year 1, just on the basis of one contract. So we kind of had to adapt really, really quite quickly. And quite rapidly, and bring people in within the space of about a month to fulfill this huge contract that we couldn't possibly do without them. So yeah, that was it was unexpected, but it was good, and it kind of propelled us to that next level. It wasn't something I ever planned for, was to kind of grow a team that quickly at least. But one of the things I definitely want to do is make sure we brought the right type of people in, and bring people in that I wanted to work with, and people that other people would want to work with. So that was basically the key thing that we wanted. Obviously they needed to have the skills that was required to kind of fulfill the work we were doing. But ultimately it was about, I wanted a really good team of people.
That's a great message. Just kind of making sure that you're choosing people that are a really great fit for you and your organization. So not just about how much you can hire them for or what skills they've got, but you kind of really dig into extensively in your recruitment process, don't you, to make sure that you've got a great fit.
And that's as the team has grown, obviously that finding the right fit becomes a little bit harder, because think of it as a I often use the kind of football team analogy. And, you've got if you had a team full of defenders or a team full of strikers, then you want to kind of strike up that balance. So as the team gets bigger, it kind of becomes harder in a way to make sure that they fit in, but bring something different. Whilst at the same time it becomes a little bit easier at the same time, because you've already got a bit of more diversity within the team. So it's kind of it's maintaining that balance and maintaining that kind of environment that doesn't kind of implode upon itself. So yeah, it's a fun challenge, but it's one that we really like. And yeah, it always starts with that kind of attitude first and personality first.
And nobody's ever left, right? Or apart from one person, and actually they had an offer, and you had to force them out the door, right?
Well, yeah, yeah. So yeah, we had someone, one person has left over the course of the 4.5 years. Those was handed their notice in, and it was it was a good opportunity. And like I said, I don't see that as a failure because they've gone on to do something better. I see that as a success. I don't, I thought it would burn me more than it did if someone hadn't their notice in, but actually, it was something that they couldn't refuse, and I was like, I fully encouraged them to go and take the opportunity. So
people don't want to kind of leave your organization. You get, because you have such a great connection with people
as well. Is again the type of people we've brought in are people that have perhaps not had the best experiences in their previous jobs. We've got lots of ex-teachers, for example, who overworked and had stressful lives, and they've come to an organisation which is opposite, and it's a bit of a culture shock sometimes.
Let's build on that then, because it's been a fantastic success story so far. What are your plans? What are the plans for the business? Where do you expect to be 5 years from now?
I'm doing business plans based on 2 years rather than 5 years now, just because again every time I do a long-term business plan, it just things change, and yeah, it's hard to kind of to plan that far ahead. But what we're looking at now is just diversifying the business a little bit. So we've got a couple of things in the pipeline. One kind of looking at a new service offering, which is a little bit different. I won't say too much on that yet. And the other one is to create some products as well. So again, we're just about to announce a product we've been working on in partnership with some other organisations. So it's a climate change curriculum for primary schools. So it's really exciting. It's a great project. It's a great kind of it's something that's hopefully going to do a lot of good, which is the kind of projects that we like, and we're hoping that we can then build on that and do a lot more in that space as well. So building that product-based thing to make it a little bit more sustainable, and then developing and maybe pivoting a little bit more towards that longer term as well.
Another great example of how your business, how your organization has such a strong intrinsic purpose, and actually it's all about kind of what drives you. It's not about kind of value things in terms of making lots of money or driven by revenue or something else. It's about having intrinsic purpose through your people and the things that your business does, right? Making a difference to people.
Yeah, and obviously we've got to make money to be sustainable and to be able to do these things. So obviously that's got to come first. We've got to that's kind of the foundations of what we do is we've got to make money in order to do that. But my kind of goal is I want to be able to make money to enable us to do good things, and to be able to do more things. So for me, I think there's, it's getting that. I always talk about the kind of the striking the balance between, security, time, and purpose. And obviously the financial security is a big part of the security side of things, as well as kind of a safe environment to be in, a place you like being. We spend a lot of time at work, so having a place that I enjoy coming is important for me, and I want it to be important for everyone else. And then making sure people have time, the flexibility, they can work around. I don't want people to live around work. I want them to work around their life. And then with a purpose, that's kind of something that's really, really important to me. I think, if you had those other things without any purpose, then, what's the point? So I think that, and I want to kind of give that opportunity to everyone within our team as well. So whether that's kind of giving the opportunity to go into schools, we've got lots of partnerships with local schools where we go and do, career talks, and we do workshops and things like that, and giving them opportunities to do that, or giving them the opportunity to, to work with, organizations that are doing good in the world. So that's kind of really, really important to what I want to get here, and to give people, not just me, it's really, really important for me, but to give other people the opportunity to have that sense of purpose as well.
Let's get to know Phil a little bit more then. So what have been your biggest learnings in business, Phil?
Not planning too far ahead, or being prepared, to kind of pivot and diversify, or change plans. Like I said, I was never planning to do this. I never, when I set out as a freelancer, I just had no intention at all to kind of set up an agency. It kind of just happened. So, being kind of prepared for, and thinking one step ahead. So I'm always thinking that kind of one step ahead. The things we've been thinking about, the product-based stuff, I've been thinking about that for 2-3 years now. And it's, it does take a bit of time, and not kind of rushing into it, and not kind of just doing things on a whim. It's got to be done in a sustainable, sensible way. And same with some of these other things I'm thinking about. It's not just, I'm thinking about the end goal and where I want to get to, but I'm not rushing there. And it's just, okay, I want to take my time with it. But at the same time, an opportunity might come along tomorrow that, that accelerates that, or that changes something. So, it's, we've had to adapt. Obviously, the world changes, all the time. It's constantly changing, so it's constantly being prepared to adapt and change with that as well.
What inspires you, Phil?
People. People inspire me, and like I said, wanting to help people is, like I said, it's at the heart of kind of what I want to achieve here. Whether that's kind of helping people to learn a new skill, or whether that's helping people to understand something, or just helping somebody to have a nicer life, and giving somebody, good people the opportunity to have a nice life. Obviously we can't do everything, and we can't help them with everything in their life, but what we can do, the little bits we can do, I want to kind of embrace that, and that's kind of what inspires me to keep going and to keep doing the right things. We all kind of take that on and do our little bit. I'm not going to change the world. I'm not that kind of person, but I can do a little bit, and I think if we all did a little bit, then that's what matters.
What a great story, Phil. Thanks very much indeed for being my guest today, and thank you for sharing just a little bit of a snippet of the incredible journey that you've been on. How can folks get in contact with you, Phil?
I'm on LinkedIn, so that's my name there. So you'll see me. You'll be able to find me on LinkedIn fairly easily, and you can also email at phil@spokeseducation.com, or you can go to our website, www.spokeseducation.com.
Phil, thank you so much for coming on. What a great story. Thank you for being my guest today.
Thank you for having me.
If you want to come and join Business Spotlight and come and share a story like Phil has just done, what an extraordinary example of a business that's totally driven by an intrinsic purpose. And it's such a difficult one to showcase with some of the businesses that I work with, but that is a fantastic example. So look, if you want to come and join Business Spotlight, we'd love to see you. Just type apply below and we'll get in contact and we'll fix up an interview with you. Until next time, speak to you soon.